Now, with Dach signed and with the acquisition of Sean Monahan more recently, the question that everyone is asking, like, we have too many centers, right? So is there going to be a move, and where do you guys see Dach fitting? Could he play on the wing? Could another guy play on the wing? What do you guys think?
I can honestly see Doc being that versatile forward, kind of like that Swiss Army knife who plays anywhere. Right now, as it stands, I have on my just early projected roster for the Habs this season, I have him on the second line with Christian Dvorak and Jonathan Drouin. But I would not be surprised if he makes a move to center, as I'm sure we know Sean Monahan's injury history. And
Mm-hmm.
Sean Monahan is much more of a productive player I find on the wing at this point in his career. So I would not be surprised if if that eventually goes down, if he moves on to the wing and then they moved on to the wing in Monahan, and then Doc takes the center role there, and then there could be switches around elsewhere, but it's going to be really exciting to see.
Yeah, and we saw Ken Hughes today to say that Monahan should be, well, now he's starting to practice with the team and he should be at full health come the start of the season. So now that means we got 5 fully healthy centers. So like we said, we got a lot. We got to see where we fit them. But like you said, Damon, we do have a lot of versatile players. I think that Doc is someone who, if needed, could play on the wing and could provide a lot of value there, given his size and given his ability. We also have seen Jake Evans play on the wing. Sean Monahan too could also play there. So I think it becomes more of a question of which players play best together and what gels the most fluidly. And given what we see in training camp and practices going throughout the season, and even during the games, if we see one trio not clicking, okay, maybe try some players elsewhere, see if something develops. Last year there was a lot of improvisation done. I'm sure this year too, given the amount of depth that we have, especially at the center position, just in our offense in general, we'll see a lot of combinations, a lot of different trios going into the season. But I do see Doc starting at center for the beginning of the year, and then maybe we'll see how things go. If not, I could see him on the wing, like you said, Damon, with someone like Drouin and either Dvorak or Monahan with him in a trio there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, there's so many possibilities, right? And I think that once opening night comes, we'll all be wrong. Like, everyone will be wrong. Marty is going to pull something out of his ass that no one expects, and it works. That's just the guy he is, and it's kind of pointless to make predictions, but we'll have fun with it. We'll say what we want to say. For me, I think Doc, like, being that he's still 21 years old, I think should pair up with Monahan as much as possible. I think Monahan is a similar type of player, a big, skilled center who has had success in the past, like a lot of success. So I think he's a guy that he could learn a lot from. I'd love to see those two together in some capacity. But yeah, you can definitely switch around some of these centers, put them on wing, but then again, you have too many wings. So are there more trades, right? Kent was asked today if there's going to be more trades, and he was open to it, but he said there won't be cap moves. We won't deal a guy just to deal a guy. There will be a return, whether that's a pick or a prospect. So let's speculate. We've been talking about trades all summer long. Let's keep it going. It's September, but we don't care who gets moved, if anyone.
I've been saying this since last year's trade deadline, or even maybe before then, Mike Hoffman. I just been waiting for the day for him to leave so we can have more defensively responsible forwards.
Yeah.
Or even if someone you want with value or better value, Christian Dvorak. I find a Western Conference team could pick him up because he plays better against those kind of teams, and also he could be a cheap number 2, number 3 center on any given team. So I think Dvorak is more likely the one that I could see going, and also I could see Kent keeping him around, but I don't know that'll be part of the solution here in Montreal because we still have many young center prospects in the system. We can't forget Suzuki, Kidney. We have Oliver Kapanen, and then we have also Jan Mishak, who made some interesting comments this summer about Slavkovsky and Wright. That was savage of him. That's all I'm going to say. But yeah, I don't see Dvorak as being part of the solution because we have so many good younger forwards coming up. So I think he's going to get dealt either this season. But if we do what I think could work out, just give him a full year under St. Louis or until the deadline if he's really in form, and then putting up good numbers like he did last year when Marty came in. I'd say trade him then and then sell high or try to get that return that you got for him. when we traded it, when we did the first and second round pick trade, of course, in the KK situation. So that's the way I'd approach it. But hopefully, Dvorak and Hoffman most likely are the two guys I want to go. But then at the deadline next year, I'm preparing a little bit before. Dadonov probably going to go. Byron, I could see a playoff team using him. Same with Drouin, Allen, and Monahan.
That's a lot of people.
A lot of things could happen, and it really seems, it's unfortunate, but it really seems that Mike Hoffman has become the scapegoat on this channel, always the one in trade talks. I mean, it's normal, but yeah, obviously he'd be the go-to. We've mentioned it a bunch on the channel, but given the fact that we have so many centers now, so many healthy centers, you know, injuries not as much as an issue in that department. Now you really need to improve your winger depth. And with that being said, you could trade either someone like Dvorak or Jake Evans for a quality winger or a good depth winger, because especially, well, we'll talk about it later with Paul Byron, but you know, his health, Ken Hughes said, is in a sort of gray area, and we don't really know what the future is going to look like for him or his long-term health, what that's going to look like. So you can't really bank on having him in the lineup. Plus, we have people like Dadonov, who right now he's only here on a one-year deal, but we have no idea what the future looks like for those guys. You know, you have a lot of expendable wingers who don't have long-term sort of like concrete roles on the team yet. So that's why I think if you were to make a trade, I'd flip a center for someone to try to improve your winger depth, or to acquire a defenseman with veteran presence or a free agent that could, you know, help lead the young group of players going forward. We know PK Subban is still on the market. I don't know what a return of having him back in Montreal would look like. I don't see it very likely, but you never know. But yeah, I would either improve the winger depth, go for a veteran D-man to try to lead the young group. That's what I would say. What do you think, Shane?
Yeah, it's a tough call, because like Dvorak, I feel like would have higher value if we waited to trade him. Like right now, his value is probably not as high as it should be. So I think he'd be more of a off season next year, or maybe deadline move rather than right now. Obviously, Hoffman would probably be the guy to move, right? Because his contract, I mean, he's making $4.5 million, so that's a big chunk off the cap. And I'm sure there's a team that could use him, right? He is a power play specialist of sorts, but still, he has some use for, you know, a playoff team, a team that wants to go far and needs some depth scoring. Don't think we'll be getting anything crazy in return, but again, we're moving 4.5 million, and other than that, I mean, it's a tough call, right? Evgeny Dadonov hasn't played a game yet, and we're already talking about trading him. Poor guy. I mean, I've heard rumors about Gallagher. You know, that's one that would hurt beyond belief, because he is the heart and soul of the team. He's been the heart and soul for so long. But again, you have to look at, you know, he's making 6.5 million until 2027, right? So to get that off the books, if we can, you know, not retain salary, it's interesting. But again, is it worth it, right? What he brings off the ice, what he brings on the bench, right? It's more than just his on ice contribution we have to think about. So he's a guy that, you know, we'll throw out there, but I'd be very surprised if he's moved at all. So I don't think there's going to be many trades coming. That's my predictions. We'll keep it conservative here. Maybe one, but I don't think there's going to be much.